Hello.
So we're going back to basics today. We're going to play the Chubby Bunny Challenge. So for those that don't know, what you've got to do is you've got to keep stuffing marshmallows in your mouth without swallowing them. Every time you put a new marshmallow in, you have to say Chubby Bunny. It's as simple as that. The loser is the one that can no longer say Chubby Bunny or vomits everywhere. So enjoy.
It's gone.
Let's go.
Number 1.
Chubby Bunny.
Chubby Bunny.
The worst thing about this is we've literally just eaten dinner, so I'm very full. Okay.
Number 2.
Chubby Bunny. These are massive marshmallows as well.
I know, I got big ones on purpose. Number 3.
Chubby Bunny.
Chubby Bunny. Number 4.
Chubby Bunny.
Chubby Bunny. Look at me. Look at her face. Why are you still there? Number 5.
Chubby Bunny.
Chubby Bunny. I'm like a squirrel. I can just stuff him in my cheeks. Number 6. I gotta put it in first. Chubby Bunny. Chubby Bunny. Don't choke on them. That's like the van from schools. Have you lost already? I've only got 6. You're vile. I've only got 6 in my mouth. I bought 3 packs. Next one, Chubby Bunny. Chubby Bunny. Wait.
I hate marshmallows.
7. No. 8.
Yeah.
Chubby Bunny. Chubby Bunny.
God.
Thank you very much for watching.
Chubby Bunnies.
Enjoy the rest of the video and we'll see you on Tuesday.
Hello and welcome to this week's YouTube video for SwanBank Youth. We're starting a new series today looking at Talking Jesus. We're going to be following along with what SwanBank is looking at in the morning services. And so today I am joined by the wonderful Opelo, everybody.
Oh,
It's lovely to have you with us, Opelo.
Doing this with you.
One thing I do every time I have a new guest on is ask them a silly question. And so today's question is, if you could have any 5 people around your dinner table, who would it be and what would you serve them for lunch?
Oh my. Okay. I would have Beyonce, obviously. I would have Obama. I would have Mother Teresa, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would also have Princess Diana, actually. And
Oh, that's a good one. I feel like she'd have some stories to tell.
I think we would be sat there like, tell us more. And maybe either Harry or Meghan or both of them. So I'd have a fair few at my table.
Sounds good. What would you serve them?
I would start off with bruschetta. And then mains, we would have a roast that I've made. And maybe a salad if they don't want a roast, because you just never know.
I mean, when you say roast, I know you're vegetarian, so what would that even be? Just nuts that have been shoved in an oven? What is that?
Loads of vegetables.
Oh.
Lots of veg. It looks good when it's finished and it tastes really, really good, but it sounds very basic, doesn't it? Excuse me. And then I would serve them dessert. I would make like a cheesecake.
Sounds good.
Mm.
Okay, so today we are starting our Talking Jesus topic, and so we're just going to ask Opelo a few questions to get us going. So here's the first question.
So I actually went to a school that was run by American missionaries. So when I was around 8 or 9 years old, we had Bible studies and worship most days. So one morning I just kind of decided to come to Christ and follow Jesus after we had a session of worship. And all this time later, I still call myself a follower of Jesus. Well, a lot of people are actually, but I would probably say, looking back a few years when I was in my youth group, my youth pastor and a mentor that I had at the time were really instrumental in my faith journey, especially because as a teenager I had a lot of questions and I just didn't know really where to go to ask. So they were always there. They were very, very gracious and would answer any and every question that I had. And they were incredibly easy to relate and talk to right through my teenage years and me being in that youth group. And my youth pastor was very, very much easy to talk to, and he always made sure to include not just myself but so many other people, which I think reflected a lot on what Jesus would have done, because he always included people who were kind of cast aside, and I think that's what really mattered. Yeah, I think it's absolutely important that we talk Jesus or talk to people about Jesus, but I think sometimes that means just kind of being kind and loving other people, because that's what Jesus teaches in the Bible, to love your neighbor and just to be that source of light for them. And actually sometimes people will ask, well, why are you being so kind to me? And then that's when you can say, actually Jesus teaches me to be kind to others around me, and that can just open up a whole reason to have conversation about Jesus.
Yeah. Have you had much experience of talking Jesus with your friends?
Mostly at work. I work in an environment that doesn't allow me to be a Christian. I have to be very not Christian. So actually I then have to stand up and speak out about, actually I don't want to do things this way because it's not what I believe, and this is why. And sometimes I do talk about what I did at the weekend, which would include taking part in Sunday morning or Sunday evening services with my church, and that's always really interesting for some people.
Yeah, I know we've talked a lot in some of our other videos about being set apart from what the world wants from us, and your work sounds like one of those places where actually you need to stand up for what you believe in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And go against the grain sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. What stops me from telling people about Jesus, really, it's just a fear of ridicule, and maybe not saying the right thing, or just being misinterpreted or misunderstood by other people. Normally when that happens, it's for me, generally I kind of take a step back and I become very quiet, which isn't really good, especially when you have to stand up and speak out. And I'm definitely working on that, and I always pray that I can kind of overcome the fear and just do it.
Have you had any experience where you have been ridiculed for talking about your faith?
Yeah, lots of times, especially again at work. People just don't understand faith and don't understand why anybody would go to church or follow this God who doesn't exist. But actually, when you know that God exists, actually all of that doesn't matter, and it doesn't make sense, but it does for me, because I know and have seen God at work in my life. So when they haven't experienced God like I've experienced them, then actually I sound a bit like a loon. Yeah.
Okay, so if you had a top tip, what would it be for some of us?
Well, if I had a top tip, somebody once said to me that you may be the only Bible other people may ever read, and that's always stuck with me.
I love that.
Yeah, it's always stuck with me, because I think, gosh, I might be the closest thing other people will experience Jesus, and I want them to encounter Jesus the way I get to encounter him. I want to be the best representation of him, because he taught me how to do that. So if ever I can, I will. And I always remind myself, well, if I'm in a situation where I can or have the chance to share Christ, I always think, well, what would Jesus do in this situation? And normally it's just do it.
Yeah, I really love that phrase that you just said at the start. You're the only Bible other people will ever read. I think that's like a really cool way of putting it. Like, how gutted would you be if you got to heaven and the people that you loved most in the world weren't there?
Yeah.
That's something that's really stuck with me from what they talked about in the Sunday morning service last week. Is that actually there are so many people that I know that currently they wouldn't be in heaven with me, and that's really heartbreaking, actually. Yeah. And so if you can think of those people that you desperately want to be in your life forever with Jesus, then I think we need to be that Bible for them, and we need to tell them about Jesus as much as we can.
Yeah, definitely. It really is. You just think about it, actually. It's not just forever. It's forever and ever and ever and ever. Actually, that's a big deal. That's a really big deal. So if you can, show love, be kind, all of these things that are really, really important. Be bold in your faith, be confident in that, and actually that's all that matters. And people will ask, well, why are you so different? Why do you do that way and not do this? And why don't you say this when everyone else says this?
Well, thank you so much, Opelo, for joining us. That brings us to the end of our video this week. It's been lovely to hear some of your testimony and hear what you have to say. It's really nice to have you with us. So we will be here on Tuesday on Zoom, where we'll be having more discussion and some Bible study around this topic. And yeah, we will see you otherwise for another video next week. See you then. Bye.
Bye.